10 signs appears when you both are thinking each other. It's not just in your head. Modern Stoic. When you connect with someone emotionally, distance and time become just details. Unknown. Ever felt a sudden pull towards someone, out of the blue? You're driving, working, or sitting quietly, and their face flashes through your mind, not just once, but often. Random maybe, but what if it's something more? Here's a better question. What if they're thinking about you at the exact same time? That feeling, almost like a tap on the shoulder from the universe, isn't just imagination. Psychology suggests that when two people share a deep emotional connection, they can pick up on each other's mental and emotional energy, even when they're miles apart. You start noticing strange patterns. Their name shows up unexpectedly. A song you both liked plays at just the right moment. You feel them without reason or contact. Coincidence? Possibly. But there's a case to be made for something deeper. This is about emotional alignment, and if you're experiencing it, chances are they are too. Let's break down 10 subtle but powerful signs that you're both thinking of each other, because sometimes the mind knows what the heart won't say. 1. You feel each other without speaking. You ever feel her before she texts? Feel her sadness in your chest before you hear her voice, that tightening in your gut out of nowhere, only to find out later she was thinking about you too. That's not a glitch in the matrix. My friend, that's not a guess. That's the unseen language between two people whose souls once locked eyes in the dark and never looked away. Real connection, true connection, doesn't rely on texts, calls, or perfectly timed emojis. It hums beneath the noise, it flows in silence, and if you're awake enough, anchored enough in the way of the modern Stoic, you'll hear it. Don't reduce this to superstition. Be wiser than that. Be alert. This is the territory of intuition, the old language of the gut, a knowing that predates Wi-Fi, small talk, and swipes. Stoicism never told you to shut down your emotions. It told you to sharpen them, to master them, to feel fully and still hold the line. The old Stoic didn't run from what he felt. He looked it dead in the eye and let it shape him. So when you feel her thinking of you, that quiet nudge in your chest, don't brush it off. Don't be too proud to believe in what you can't explain. That's not a weakness. That's the edge. That's strength dressed in stillness. You must understand this. Not every connection is built to echo in silence. Some fade with time. Others break under pressure. But the rare few, the real ones, they haunt you, gently. They reach for you when you least expect it, and you'll feel it like a shift in the wind. The ones that skip the inbox and land right in your bones. Those are the ones worth noticing. And if you're sensing her energy, odds are she's sensing yours too. Energy doesn't lie, and neither should you to yourself. Don't fall for the noise of the modern world. It wants you distracted. It wants you doubting. Endless pings, hot takes, shallow validation, they pull you away from your inner compass. That compass, the one forged through fire and stillness. It's your inheritance. That's modern Stoic living, not emotionless, but emotionally anchored. Don't chase every feeling. But when something rings true deep inside you, honor it, own it. That quiet tug on your soul. That's the kind of intelligence only the brave still recognize. You must stop second-guessing what your spirit already knows. This is where most men fall. They sense it, but they dismiss it. They feel the pulse, but ignore the rhythm. Don't be like most men. Be the man who knows, the man who senses her sadness before the tears fall, the man who feels her joy across 100 miles. That is the kind of knowing that doesn't ask for proof. It is the proof. In a world of reaction, be the presence. In a world of noise, be the signal. Marcus Aurelius said, "The soul becomes dyed with the colour of its thoughts." And when two souls have truly met, they don't forget. They dye each other, permanently. It's not romantic fluff. It's resonance, the kind that doesn't fade with distance or cool with time. That's what the old Stoic understood long before the rest caught on. A man who lives by Stoicism doesn't need a sign when the truth is already humming in his chest. He just listens. Don't rationalize away your instincts. Don't talk yourself out of truth. Be still. Be observant. Be the kind of man who trusts his senses over his screen. Because when she crosses your mind out of nowhere and a message lights up your phone moments later, that's not fantasy. That's confirmation. That's the realness. That's what it means to be tuned into someone beyond words. So what now? Simple? Trust it. Trust yourself. When your heart tightens, listen. When her name echoes in your mind for no reason, honor it. That's not delusion. That's connection. The kind you don't explain, the kind you live. And that, my friend, is the quiet mastery of the modern Stoic, the man who wins with presence, not noise, the man who understands that sometimes the loudest truths come in silence. Comment to remember. I trust my intuition more than the noise. Your instincts aren't weakness. They're your edge. Stay still. Stay sharp. Be the signal in a world full of static. 2. You feel their presence in silence. You feel their presence in silence. Don't ignore it. That sudden weight in your chest, the echo of a thought, the moment your heart tightens at the sound of a song you haven't heard in years. That's not your mind playing games. That's presence. That's the memory of wearing skin. And when it strikes without warning, in a room full of silence, it's not madness, it's meaning. The modern Stoic knows this well. Silence can be louder than noise. Quieter, yes, but infinitely more honest. Silence. When you're truly connected to someone, isn't empty. It isn't absent. It's evidence. It speaks in ways your mouth never could. It comforts like a familiar scent in the air. Or it cuts, like a whisper laced with thunder. That's the paradox. When the connection runs deep, deeper than logic, deeper than time, it outlives sound. You're lying in bed. The room is still. But suddenly, you feel it. They're there. Not in the flesh, in something older, in emotion. In that invisible current that lives between two souls who've met and left their mark. That's not a weakness. That's not wishful thinking. That's the phantom connection, a term too mystical for science, too real for denial. It's what happens when emotional gravity bends space and time, when two people's inner worlds remain tuned to the same silent frequency. It doesn't need validation. It is the validation. And in a world starved for realness, where most chase dopamine and call it love, this depth, this bond that is rare, that is sacred, that is gold, you must understand this. Sometimes silence is not absence, it's contact. It's the whisper of a soul that still knows yours. That quiet moment before sleep, where only one face appears, uninvited yet welcome. That's not your imagination misfiring. That's memory and energy dancing, reconnecting across a space no map can chart. The Stoic life doesn't dismiss this. It leans into it. It listens. It learns. Because these moments are not emotional accidents. They are reminders of a bond that mattered, still matters. The old Stoic didn't run from emotion. He didn't drown in it either. He studied it. Hold it. He let it sharpen him. That's what Stoic lessons teach us. Not to be made of stone, but to be made of steel, wrapped in understanding. You don't numb these moments. You don't dismiss them with a laugh and a drink. You sit in them. You breathe in the weight. You recognize the echo for what it is, the proof that connection doesn't require noise, just resonance. Don't flinch when it comes. Don't tell yourself it's silly. That's the mistake of men afraid to feel. You're wiser. You've seen enough, lost enough, lived enough to know when something's real. So when her face appears in your mind out of nowhere, honor it. When you feel her near, even when she's miles away, listen to it. That's not grief. That's not a regret. That's presence. That's a soul that once touched yours and left fingerprints too deep to fade. The Stoic doesn't run from the truth. He walks into it. He holds his ground. He recognizes that connection is more than proximity, that real presence outlasts parting, and that some bonds don't disappear. They evolve. In this world of shallow noise, the quiet becomes a revolutionary act, a declaration that what you had, what you still have, exists outside the limits of sound and space. You must have the courage to see that. And yes, it takes courage, it takes discipline. But that is what the Stoic life demands: the strength to feel without unraveling, to remember without clinging, to endure silence without interpreting it as loss. The man who can feel deeply and still stand firm. He is not weak, he is rare, he is rooted, and he is powerful. So when you feel them beside you in a quiet room, don't chalk it up to loneliness, don't scroll past it, sit in it, let it speak. Because that, my friend, is not emptiness. That is presence. That is love continuing without permission. That is the beauty of the Stoic life: quiet power, deliberate stillness, and an unshakable connection to what matters most. 3. You keep seeing their name everywhere. You keep seeing their name everywhere, and it's not in your head. It's not a coincidence. It's a signal. The name shows up when you're not even looking. In an article, a podcast, a street sign, a stranger's conversation. It hits you out of nowhere. You try to shrug it off, but it keeps happening. That repetition. That's not random. It's a psychological phenomenon known as the Bader-Meinhof effect, or frequency illusion. But more than science, it's energy, it's meaning, it's an emotion. When someone matters, really matters, your mind doesn't just take note. Eye tunes in. Your awareness sharpens like a blade. Suddenly, the world becomes a mirror. You're not imagining this. You're sensing something deeper, a connection, a signal, a shared bond still alive beneath the surface. And in the world of the modern Stoic, that matters. Don't dismiss it. Don't mock it. Don't let your ego laugh it off just to avoid vulnerability. Marcus Aurelius said, "The soul becomes dyed with the colour of its thoughts." So if their name is echoing through your days, if they're living rent-free in your mind, ask why. Stop pretending the signs are meaningless. The Stoic principles don't tell you to be numb. They demand that you be sharp, awake, unflinching. Stoicism is not about killing emotion. It's about mastering it. It's about standing in the fire and not getting burned. So when the world whispers their name again, and it will, don't flinch, don't run, stand in stillness. Listen. There's wisdom in that silence. Maybe, just maybe, they're thinking of you too. Energy doesn't lie. Bonds don't vanish because of silence. When two minds have connected, they leave a residue. And sometimes, that residue speaks. This isn't about fantasy. This is about presence. This is about attention. This is about truth. The modern man, the Stoic man, doesn't chase illusions, but he doesn't turn away from signs either. You must be disciplined enough to observe without clinging, strong enough to feel without breaking. That's real mastery. That's real strength. Pay attention to what repeats. Pay attention to what stirs you. Don't call it coincidence just to feel in control. Call it what it is. A message. Maybe from your subconscious, maybe from the bond, maybe from them, or maybe from life itself. Whatever it is, don't be the fool who looks away. Be the warrior who sees clearly. This is how you lead your inner world. This is how you practice Stoic principles in real time, not just in theory. You want to become a modern Stoic. Then face the hard questions. Why is their name haunting you? Why do they still have space in your mind? What is unresolved? What truth are you avoiding? Let this be a call to mastery, to clarity, to inner strength. Let it remind you, emotional awareness is not weakness. It's power. It's precision. It's ownership. Marcus Aurelius didn't preach detachment out of fear. He taught control through understanding. He ruled an empire and ruled his own soul. You must do the same. If you're seeing the same signal over and over, it's because you need to. The mind is wise when we let it speak. Don't drown in nostalgia. Don't spiral into overthinking. And don't dismiss what you feel just because it can't be measured. Let's be real. Modern life bombards us with noise, notifications, news, obligations. But when the same name keeps slicing through all that clutter, don't ignore it. Don't get distracted. That's not just memory. That's alignment. That's awareness. That's the moment when past, present, and energy collide. Stand in it. Reflect. Don't obsess. Don't react. Respond. Like a Stoic. Calm, grounded, focused. This isn't magic. This is presence. This is what happens when your internal compass picks up a signal it knows by heart. Honor that. Let it teach you. Let it remind you who you are, what you value, and what still lives inside you. Remember, strength isn't just in lifting weight. It's in carrying the invisible load with discipline. When the world sends you a signal, loud, clear, repeated, don't laugh it off. Lean in, pay attention. That is what a man of depth does. That is what a modern Stoic lives for. The battlefield isn't always physical. Sometimes it's spiritual, emotional, invisible. You must be just as fierce there. A name, a memory, a feeling. These are not ghosts. These are messengers. Don't let them pass you by unnoticed. Use them. Use them to grow. Use them to sharpen your awareness. Use them to level up your self-mastery. Don't waste the opportunity by pretending it's nothing. It's not nothing. It's a spark, a test, a lesson. Learn it. Let this be your moment, your victory. Stand in the full weight of what you feel and command it. Own your mind. Own your emotions. Be relentless in your clarity. Be exact in your self-awareness. A man who lives by Stoic principles doesn't flinch when meaning arrives. He stands tall. He breathes deep. He sees all. Marcus Aurelius didn't just teach it. He lived it. Now it's your turn. Let every sign sharpen you. Let every repetition remind you. Let every name that haunts you shape you. This is not a weakness. This is power. This is you, becoming the man you're meant to be. Comment to remember I lead with awareness and strength. 4. You can't stop thinking about them because you're destined to. You keep thinking about her, not because you're sentimental, not because you're weak or bored or lonely. You think about her because something real still breathes in that connection, and you'd better believe that matters. This isn't fluff. This isn't wishful thinking dressed up in poetry. This is your reality speaking. And if you're living as a modern Stoic, truly living, not just posturing, then you damn well better pay attention. She's not just a memory floating by. She's a presence. And presence means pull, a gravitational hum in your bones that doesn't fade with time, distance, or logic. And don't try to argue your way out of it. That quiet ache in the middle of your chest when her name drifts across your thoughts. That's not your brain playing tricks. That's your spirit remembering what your pride tried to forget. The old Stoic inside you might tell you to bury it, box it, master it until it shrivels into silence. But let's be honest, that hasn't worked, has it? Because mastery isn't suppression. Mastery is discernment. It's knowing which feelings to keep and which to discard. And this one, this quiet, persistent feeling that she still matters. You keep it. You listen to it. You don't run from it like it's some ghost haunting your ego. She's still in your dreams, still in your random thoughts during the drive home. Her laugh shows up in moments you can't explain. Her face flashes behind your eyes when you hear that one damn song you never meant to remember. And every time she appears, whether in your sleep or your silence, you feel that same electric pulse, that thrum, that certainty without proof. That's not nostalgia. That's a signal. And the man walking the modern Stoic path must understand the universe doesn't beg for your attention. It moves quietly. It whispers. But only the men who have cultivated stillness can hear it. This is what Stoicism is about. It's not cold indifference. It's not emotional starvation. It's clear. Strength without noise, power without drama. The old Stoics knew this. Marcus Aurelius didn't shut his heart down. He simply learned to channel it. Seneca didn't ignore love. He honored it without letting it drown him. And if you call yourself a modern Stoic, you need to do the same. Don't let your logic strangle your intuition. Don't let your ego shut down your instinct. You must be strong, yes, but don't be stupid. Some connections aren't meant to be erased. They were written into your story before you even knew how to hold a pen. Call it fate. Call it soul memory. Call it whatever helps you sleep at night. But the truth doesn't need your permission to exist. If she still lingers in your thoughts without warning, if she still sits quietly in the back of your mind when you're at your most honest, then brother, it's not over. Not really. Maybe not ever. You don't have to chase her. You don't have to act on it right this second. But don't insult yourself by pretending it's meaningless. Don't dull the edge of what your soul is screaming just to stay in control. Because a true Stoic, an evolved, modern Stoic, doesn't mistake numbness for mastery. He knows when a feeling is sacred. He knows when a connection is not just emotional, it's spiritual. It's carved into him. This isn't about turning into a hopeless romantic. It's about being honest with yourself. About being man enough to say, yeah, she mattered. She still does. Because when something keeps returning, uninvited but undeniable, you don't dismiss it. You honor it. You question it. You learn from it. And maybe, just maybe, you follow where it leads. Because this life doesn't offer you a neon sign when something is meant for you. It offers you a whisper, a scent, a glance, a memory that won't let go. And when you're living as a man of Stoicism, true Stoicism, you're not asleep to those cues. You're awake, alert. You're a man who listens to what the world won't say out loud. So if she's still in your thoughts despite the years, the silence, the stories you've told yourself to move on, maybe she's still in your life for a reason. Maybe she's not just a chapter, but a thread that still wants to weave itself into your story. That's not fantasy. That's gravity. And gravity doesn't negotiate. It doesn't ask for your attention. It claims it. That's the kind of truth you don't bury. You sit with it. You feel it. But you don't let it wreck you. You integrate it. You let it teach you how deep your heart still runs, even when the world tells you to keep it shallow. This is the power of being a modern Stoic. Not the power to deny what's real, but the power to hold it, feel it, and not let it destroy you. That's not a weakness. That's art. That's wisdom. That's strength with soul. And if she's still there, in the quiet parts of your life, it might be time to admit she's not just a memory. She's a message. So don't ignore it. Don't shut the door again just because it's safer. Be the man who knows what to feel, when to feel, and how to walk forward without regret. That's what Stoicism demands of you. Not silence, but understanding. If her memory still lives in you, then maybe she's meant to. And if that stirs something inside, if you feel seen in these words, then do yourself a favor. Don't swipe past this. Like, share, subscribe, and stay tuned for more insight made for the man who walks the modern Stoic path with clarity, courage, and heart. 5. They smile when they think of you. They smile when they think of you. And no, you're not imagining it. That subtle curve on their lips when your name crosses their mind, that's not fiction. That's neuroscience, psychology, emotional recall. You didn't just make a moment, you made a mark. And in a world obsessed with volume, gimmicks, and flash, it's the quiet, consistent, dependable man, the modern Stoic, who leaves the deepest impression. You didn't have to perform, impress, or orchestrate grand gestures. You just had to show up as yourself, a man of presence, not pretense. You brought calm into chaos. You were stillness in a storm. You became someone's peace in a world that rarely offers any. That matters. That sticks. That gets stored not just in their memory, but in their nervous system. And when their heart smiles before their mind even catches up, that's a legacy in motion. That's Stoicism at work. Don't underestimate that. Don't dismiss the invisible impact. The old Stoic understood this well. He knew that character wasn't proven when people cheered, but when no one was watching. Be that kind of man, a man whose name doesn't echo because he shouted it, but because others whispered it with gratitude. You're not in their thoughts because of a single highlight moment. You're there because of the way you consistently made them feel seen, safe, valued. That's rare. That's a different kind of success, the kind that doesn't fade when you walk out of the room. And yes, this goes beyond romance. This is about how you live, what you leave behind, whether you choose to build yourself into a man who doesn't just pass through life, but plants something valuable in the minds of others. When someone smiles at the thought of you, that's not a coincidence, that's evidence. That's what modern Stoic living creates. So don't chase applause. Don't hunt for validation. You're not here to be the loudest man in the room. Be the one they feel strongest around. Be the reminder that stillness is power. Be the guy whose memory shows up like a warm blanket on a cold night. That is a real influence. That's the kind of masculinity the world needs more of. Not aggressive, not needy, just steady. Don't argue about what a good man looks like. Be one. Practice the quiet disciplines. Keep your promises. Speak with intention. Walk with purpose. Let Stoicism guide your daily rhythm, because this isn't about rigid self-denial. It's about grace under fire, power without boasting, depth without drama. When you show up as that kind of man, you don't just become memorable, you become irreplaceable. And here's the twist: you may never see the smile, you may never hear the praise, but you'll feel the shift in your relationships, in your peace, in the way people lean in when you speak, in the way they remember you long after you're gone. Don't brush that off. Own it. You've become more than a memory. You've become meaning. That's Stoicism lived, not just learned. So be the thought that calms a mind. Be the story someone tells with warmth. Be the reason someone still believes in good men. And if their smile shows up before your name is even mentioned, then congratulations. You've already won. You didn't just leave an impression. You lived like a modern Stoic, quiet, grounded, lasting. That's the kind of man this world remembers. Comment to remember: I am a calm, steady, unforgettable man. Type it below to claim it. Let this be your daily affirmation. Let this be your legacy. 6. You both reach out at the same time. You reach for your phone, ready to message her, and there it is. A notification from her, already in your inbox. You consider calling, and within seconds, your phone lights up with her name. That is not random. That is not fantasy. That is mental alignment in its rawest, purest form, a connection forged beyond surface emotion. This is the energy of two minds operating on the same frequency, what the modern Stoic understands as synchronicity, grounded in presence and awareness. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The soul becomes dyed with the colour of its thoughts. When your thoughts are saturated with another person and theirs with yours, something begins to happen. You become attuned, aligned, powerful. Don't dismiss these signs. Don't downplay what you're sensing. Let's be clear, this isn't superstition. This is perception sharpened through self-awareness and anchored in the unshakable calm of Stoic principles. When you and another person think of each other at the same moment, it reflects an invisible, yet undeniable thread of shared energy, a mirror of intentions, a union of mindsets. And the modern Stoic knows it's not emotion that blinds us, it's distraction. Get still, get focused. Marcus Aurelius trained his mind not to chase illusions, but to observe truth with ruthless clarity. You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. You must train your mind to see these moments not as flukes, but as data, evidence, signals from a deeper truth. Don't run from it. Don't ignore it. Instead, sharpen it. Discipline it. Trust that when two souls are locked in silent dialogue, when thought and intention cross space without sound, it's a phenomenon the ancients lived by, and the modern man must reclaim. So, what should you do first? Recognize the signs. Don't brush off the uncanny timing. That's the first test. Second, reflect. What is your intention with this person? Is it obsession or connection? Third, channel your energy. Don't just feel, act. Stoic principles demand action rooted in clarity, not chaos. Be intentional with your thoughts. Be intentional with your attention. If you sense a bond, speak it. If you feel alignment, honor it. Don't sabotage it by doubting what your instincts already know. In today's world of endless noise, it's easy to dismiss this kind of alignment as coincidence. Don't. That's the mistake of the distracted man, the weak man, the man who never tunes into the deeper pulse of life. You must be better. You must rise. You must learn what the Stoics lived and breathed. Marcus Aurelius knew that the mind is the battleground, and those who master it win. Victory doesn't come from force, it comes from understanding, from poise, from strength under control. That is how a modern Stoic lives. That is how he leads. That is how he loves. Let's not pretend this connection doesn't mean something. Let's not minimize what you both feel. This is a rare alignment. Treat it with the respect it deserves. Stay grounded. Stay sharp. Let your thoughts be deliberate, like a sword forged through fire. Repetition builds mastery. Discipline builds clarity, and clarity builds power. Marcus Aurelius lived by these truths. So must you. These are not just moments. They are proof. Proof that you are not imagining it. Proof that you're not alone in your thoughts. And proof that, when two minds are tuned to each other, the universe moves in subtle, decisive ways. Let this awaken you. Let this sharpen your edge, master your perception, own your intent, and walk like a man who sees reality for what it truly is. Because this powerful mental link is not just in your head. It's real, it's rare, and it's yours to command. 7. You dream about each other. You dream about each other. And no, that's not just random neurons firing while you sleep. When their face appears in your dreams, vivid and hauntingly familiar, when the moment feels so real it lingers after you wake, don't brush it off. That's not just a dream. That's the resonance. That's two minds reaching across the quiet of the night to find one another. And when those dreams are mutual, when they show up for you like you showed up for them, again and again, uninvited but welcome, that's not coincidence, that's connection. Pay attention. You're tapping into something the old Stoic would have recognized but never bragged about, an invisible thread that ties two spirits without needing spectacle. Modern Stoic men don't chase signs, but they're wise enough to notice them when they appear. This isn't about mysticism. It's about emotional memory, the kind that seeps into your subconscious because it's unresolved, or perhaps too profound to stay above the surface. It shows up in symbols, feelings, entire scenes your waking self might deny, but your sleeping self refuses to forget. That's the power of deep emotional imprint, and it's mutual when it repeats. You dream of them because part of you hasn't let go, or perhaps never needed to. And if they dream of you too, that's no accident. That's alignment. That's proof that something you said, or more likely, something you were, embedded itself in their story. Don't mistake silence for absence. Sometimes the strongest signals are the quietest ones. Be the kind of man who lives so authentically, so anchored in character, that your memory walks into someone's sleep long after you've walked out of their day. That is not fantasy. That is the reach of real presence. That's what Stoicism teaches. Don't perform. Embody. Don't cling. Remain grounded. You must accept that connection isn't always loud. It's often patient, recurring, persistent. The modern Stoic understands this. He doesn't panic when connection feels unseen. He knows that some bonds live beneath the surface, strong, quiet, enduring. That's the real measure of legacy. Not likes, not messages, but moments that visit unannounced and leave peace behind. So don't ignore the dream. Don't second-guess it. Use it as a reminder of who you were when you were most fully present, most quietly powerful. Your subconscious doesn't lie. It tells you who you miss, what you value, and how deep the impact went. And if they're dreaming of you too, you've already done what most never will. You've left an emotional fingerprint without ever needing to shout. That is strength. That is stillness. That is Stoicism practiced at the soul level. Be that man, the one who lingers, not as a ghost, but as a source of warmth even in the dark. Because if your presence lives in someone's dream, you didn't just pass through life. You mattered, quietly, deeply. Lastly, comment to remember, my presence leaves a mark, even in silence. 8. Your moods shift unexpectedly. When your mood shifts for no reason, when joy, anxiety, or deep emotions surge without warning, and nothing in your day explains it, that's not random. That's not a weakness. That's a signal. That's the energy of another mind intertwined with yours. It means they're thinking of you. just as you're thinking of them. Modern science hints at it, but the ancients knew it. Marcus Aurelius, the great Stoic emperor, understood it when he said, "The soul becomes dyed with the colour of its thoughts." When your soul shifts shades without explanation, pay attention. You are not imagining it. You are tuned into something real. This is the connection forged by mutual thought, something deeper than logic, something driven by energy. That flicker in your gut, that pull behind your ribcage, it's their presence, even in their absence. This is one of the 10 powerful signs that you're thinking of each other at the same time. It's not fantasy. It's a modern echo of ancient truth. You must not dismiss it. You must understand it. Modern life pulls us in 1,000 directions. Alerts, emails, endless responsibilities. But when someone constantly tugs at your emotions, interrupts your peace without being present, that's a force you can't ignore. That's not a distraction. That's the resonance. That's a signal, and you must decode it. Under the guidance of Stoic principles, especially those passed down by Marcus Aurelius, we are told not to chase feelings blindly, but never to ignore repeated signs. If it is not right, do not do it. If it is not true, do not say it. And if it keeps showing up, if it keeps repeating itself in your emotions, then it is something you must confront. Something real. Don't explain it away. Don't dull the instinct. Master it. Own it. Let's be clear. Real strength is not the denial of emotion. Real strength is control over it. Modern Stoic thought teaches us to hold power over our minds, but not by suppression, by clarity, by awareness. That moment when your mood tilts for no clear reason, stop. Don't brush it off. Trace the feeling. Ask yourself who's on your mind. Ask yourself who might be feeling the same. Ask yourself why. Often, this emotional turbulence is not yours alone. It's shared. It's mirrored. It's the result of 2 minds circling each other across distance and time. This is not a weakness. This is awareness. Victory lies in recognizing the battlefield before the war begins. And your battlefield is your own mind. Stoic principles tell us to filter emotions through reason, to recognize what we can control and release what we cannot. But they also tell us to be attuned to what repeats, to what speaks, again and again. If their energy is invading your thoughts, if their emotion stirs your mood like wind on a lake, do not run. Investigate it. Recognize that connection for what it is. 2 minds in tune, 2 energies crossing. You must learn to recognize the storm when it gathers, not after it has passed. That is mastery. That is modern Stoicism. That is the teaching of Marcus Aurelius. Let me tell you clearly, these signs are real. These shifts are not just in your head. You are not imagining things. You are sensing things, deep things, meaningful things. The path of the modern Stoic man is not to numb these experiences, but to sharpen his awareness of them, to see clearly, to act firmly. You must stop doubting your instincts. Stop dismissing emotional spikes as randomness. Stop pretending you're not affected. Start seeing the truth in the tremble. Start owning your intuition. Start trusting the connection. The more you trust it, the clearer it gets. And the clearer it gets, the more control you gain. You are not weak for feeling. You are strong for understanding what you feel. You are powerful for mastering the message behind the mood. Let the wisdom of Marcus Aurelius guide you. You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. Your mind is speaking to you through these emotional waves. It's time you started listening. It's time you became the master of it. Victory belongs to the man who does not ignore the signs, who follows Stoic principles with discipline and awareness, who does not let modern noise drown out ancient wisdom. That man is you. Own your power, master your mind, recognize the connection, and never forget, the shift in your mood might just be the proof that someone, somewhere, is thinking of you too. That is strength. That is clarity. That is the path of the modern Stoic. 9. You sense when they're near or far. You ever catch yourself suddenly sensing something's off, like they're not near, not close, not quite there, and yet you can't explain why. Or maybe, out of nowhere, you feel them, like they're right beside you, without a single call or text to prove it. That's not fantasy. That's not wishful thinking. That's connection. Real connection. What you're picking up isn't some mystical nonsense. It's your internal compass locking in on someone who's deeply wired into your emotional circuitry. It's the kind of quiet intuition no app, no smartwatch, no satellite can give you. It's instinct, primal, raw, and entirely human. Don't ignore it. Don't rationalize it away. A modern Stoic doesn't dismiss emotion. He observes it, respects it, and uses it. That feeling of nearness or distance you get out of the blue, that's not just in your head. That's a pulse, a signal that maybe, just maybe, they're thinking of you too. You don't have to be an old Stoic sitting on a marble bench in ancient Greece to understand that the bond between two people can defy logic. Stoicism doesn't mean being numb. It means being aware, alert, in control. So be honest with yourself. You felt them before they messaged. You knew something was off before it unfolded. That's not coincidence. That's resonance. If you've both been thinking about each other at the same time, repeatedly, unexpectedly, that's a sign. Not a sign to chase, but a sign to notice. A modern Stoic doesn't cling, doesn't fantasize, but he also doesn't ignore patterns the soul recognizes before the brain does. Be the man who doesn't shrug off the unspoken just because it can't be measured. That's weakness. Be the man who stands still in the storm of emotion and reads the wind. The presence you feel, the absence you sense. It's not noise, it's signal. Stoicism in its truest form isn't silence, it's clarity. Don't confuse stillness with denial. If something keeps tugging at you, again and again, it's worth your attention. Maybe not action, but attention. Because when two people are synced on a deeper plane, time zones, logic, and distance mean very little. The modern Stoic honors that kind of awareness. He doesn't explain it away. He learns from it. 10. You feel peace when you think of them? When you think of someone and peace floods your mind, not confusion, not anxiety, but a steady calm, you must pay attention. That is not a coincidence. That stillness is a signal. It's not just in your head, it's real. When two minds align, even across distance, there is a kind of silent understanding, a hidden connection that defies logic. That calm you feel is the echo of their thoughts matching yours. It's mutual. It's deeper than words. And if you're honest, you know you've felt it. That is a modern truth, yet it's grounded in ancient wisdom. Marcus Aurelius, the great Roman emperor and philosopher, taught in his Stoic principles that the soul becomes calm when it aligns with reason and nature. When your thoughts bring you serenity instead of chaos, you're tapping into something aligned with truth, perhaps with someone whose soul mirrors yours. You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. That is the voice of Marcus Aurelius, and it echoes through your experience now. This connection isn't fantasy. It's a sign that what you feel may be shared. When you're both thinking of each other at the same time, something shifts. You feel it. You know it. You're not imagining things. That's the kind of bond you don't run from. You rise to meet it. Don't ignore that calm. Don't dismiss it as nostalgia. That peace is a marker. It's your inner compass confirming what your instincts already suspect. In today's modern chaos, where most chase noise and distraction, stillness becomes sacred. Stillness is your truth. Let it guide you. Let it strengthen you. That's how a modern Stoic thinks. Calm under pressure, clear in purpose, unmoved by doubt. You must sharpen that awareness. Train it like a muscle. Trust that your mind, shaped by Stoic principles, is more accurate than you've been led to believe. Let the peace you feel become your proof. Let it make you deliberate, strong, wise, and if the connection is real, honor it. Protect it, because those rare moments of inner stillness are life showing you what matters. Let's be clear, this isn't sentiment. This is clarity. You're learning to master yourself. You're applying the ancient wisdom of Marcus Aurelius to the modern battlefield of emotions. That's not a weakness. That's victory. Real men don't run from emotion. They control it. They command it. You must remember, peace isn't just the absence of conflict. It's the presence of truth. And when that truth is tied to someone else's thoughts returning to you like a signal in the dark, don't doubt it. That's a sign. That's your call to rise. Face it with the mind of a modern Stoic and master your life. So the next time you think about someone and wonder, am I the only one feeling this? Remember these 8 signs. You're not crazy. You're not obsessed. You're connected. And connections like these don't just fade, because when it's real, when it's written in your soul, the universe will echo it in ways you can't ignore, in thoughts, in energy, in moments, in signs. If they're always on your mind, it could be because you're always in their heart. And if it's meant to be, life will keep giving you the chance to find each other again. Stay aware, stay open, and always trust the signs. If this spoke to something real in you, don't keep it to yourself. Subscribe for more truths like this. And if someone's been on your mind, maybe they're meant to hear this too.